What's up? What's up? What's up with everybody? I want to talk to you guys about how I invest all over the United States, live thousands of miles from where I live, and how I do this because I've been getting a lot of people asking me. In fact, I'm responding to a text right now on my phone where a lot of people are asking me, how do I do this? How do I live in California or live wherever I decide to live and invest where I want to invest? So here's the thing, right? The first thing is you have to choose your market, right? So we're going to talk about the market, how I choose my market, why do I choose certain markets. Then we're going to talk about how I build a team there, how I get into that market, and then we're going to talk about how I go from that to getting the deals, funding the deals using none of my own money and getting to the finish line and getting that check and getting that money in the bank. So I'm going to wait a little bit and let a few people join, and then we're going to go from there, guys. Okay. So you guys just hang tight. Boom. Okay. Cool. Just had to check a few last text messages, man. I hope you guys are enjoying this evening, just like me. I'm just in my office, just relaxing and chilling. And number one thing is, how do I choose my market? Well, you have something that's called emerging markets, right? So you have certain markets where some markets are going down, some markets are on their way to go up. See, real estate is cyclical. It goes in cycles. So you have certain areas where people are leaving, the area is declining, people are getting away from that area, so it's driving prices down for whatever reason. Then you have other areas where jobs are coming in, so people are coming there for work, or maybe the cost of living is cheaper, so people are coming there to live for the cost of living. And those areas are going up in value, right? So I look for areas like that. A great magazine to subscribe to, a great website to go to is Area Development, areadevelopment.com. So with Area Development will tell you exactly where jobs are coming into. They'll tell you exactly where these places are looking, and it will be actual cities in the magazine advertising. I've seen a full spread ad from Atlanta, Georgia, saying, "Hey, bring your business here." See, there's certain cities where they're giving businesses tax credits to set up shop there, where they're giving them city land, city buildings that are owned, and giving them tax abatements. For those that don't know what a tax abatement is a certain amount of time where you don't have to necessarily pay them taxes right off the bat, and they let that ride out into the future. So they're giving you places like that. Now, these are things that big time developers, huge landlords, people that buy huge multifamily buildings, these are the things they look for. What I do is I follow that same trend, follow that same coattail, but I play in smaller multifamily and single family homes because you can do the same thing and it applies to both markets and to all markets. Okay. So the number one thing is you want to look for an area like that. Look for trends on where people are moving to. Look for where prices are starting to increase. You could check out different data points from like Zillow and what have you. The only caveat to that is like usually when it's on Zillow, it's already a bit too late. You're already late to the ball game because they're tracking data from a year ago, right? So you want to know when there's a job announcement, where there's jobs coming in and things like that, right? That's number one. Now, say you picked out your market. Now you know where you're going to invest. Now, where do you go to find your team? Okay, so say like you think about it, you're like, all right, Kansas City is where I'm gonna invest, right? Except there's one problem. You don't know nobody in Kansas City. You have no friends there, you have no family there, you have no contacts there, nobody in the real estate game. Well, let's go through each of those separately. So number one is it doesn't matter if you have friends or family there, because see, with friends or family, they don't know what you know anyways. So they can't see what you see in a deal. So get them off your list, right? Unless they do exactly what you do, unless they're into real estate investing, unless they're into the hustling like you, then they don't need to be a part of your business. That's number one. Number two is, okay, what about a team there? You don't have a team there. Or, will you buy a building without seeing it? Yes, I bought multiple properties without seeing it. And here's why. I'm not a contractor, right? So because I'm not a contractor, what am I going to look at? I'm not a home inspector. What am I going to look at? I'm not seeing what these professionals are seeing. So the biggest thing that you have to worry about though is finding somebody that you can trust in those markets, because and that does take time. It is a little bit of trial and error. So when I do jump into a new market, I do like to go out there, meet people, shake hands, because for those that don't realize it, when you shake hands or you give dap or whatever it is you do, that's a transfer of energy. And you can pick up on somebody's energy and see what kind of person that is. You ever shook somebody's hand and just get like a cold chill? Well, that's telling you something. That's your gut. That's your inner being telling you, hey man, watch out for this guy. Be on alert. Put your spidey senses go up, and it's putting you on alert, saying, be careful, because this person may be trouble and may cause you harm. And anybody who that I felt that way about, that I shook hands with, and then I didn't listen to my gut, it ended up putting me in a bad situation every single time. So you want to listen to that inner gut, right? It may sound mysterious, but it is what it is. So that's the main thing. So I go out there at first just to fill person out. I like to see what projects they working on, what they got going on, things like that. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be like that. There's certain markets where I jumped into first, and it was months down the road before I got out there to shake somebody's hand and introduce myself face to face. And that's only because I'm old school. I never had to do that. So the first thing you want to do is look for a top agent in the area. You want to look for that rock star agent in the area. So how do you do that? Well, go on Zillow, right? And when you go on Zillow, search for an agent. And then after you search for an agent, you want to type in that zip code, and then you want to look for the agents that have the most stars, the most reviews, and the most listings of sold properties, right? And purchase properties as well. And you want to talk to them. Now, some of the ones that have thousands of reviews and a whole lot of stars, things like that, a whole bunch of reviews and a whole bunch of sold properties and things like that, that's usually a team. It's usually going to be a group of people. For example, here in the Bay Area, one of the biggest teams is the Kenny Fast team, right? And they got hundreds and hundreds of agents that work for them. And so if you look up their profile, it's going to show that they do a large amount of volume, right? And that's cool. It's okay to find a team, but then you want to find that team and find out who's the A players on that team, who's the rock stars on that team. Because I'll tell you what, right? I've done deals where it was my agent that got me out of a jam, so you're only as good as your team. You want to leverage your team so you can get your time back. You either leveraging your time or you're leveraging your team in this business, right? We don't leverage our money because we leverage other people's money, because there's a whole lot of people, and we'll get to that in a second, but there's a whole lot of people that have a lot of money, and that's their biggest challenge is what to do with that money. They need those tax breaks, or it's just not earning enough in a bank account, things like that. That's their issue. That's their problem. So right now, you may be going through something personal where you may not have a lot of money, yet you in your head, you're like, oh, it's all about the money, because that's your problem. Well, there's other people that have other problems where that money's not a big deal. So that's one thing that you want to pay attention to, right? Is your team. So you need that rock star agent. From that agent, and you find one that's good with working with investors and out-of-state investors. And most places where I invest, say like in the Midwest and in the South, they're used to people coming from these coastal areas and investing there. They're used to people coming from California. They're used to people coming from New York and coming from the East Coast and the West Coast, coming to invest in these areas, right? So they're okay with working with people that are out of the area, and you just got to fill them out. You got to know what questions to ask them to fill them out. But that agent will now connect you to your top contractors. They will now connect you to all your A players on your team. Now, when it comes to like hard money, so for those that don't know what a hard money loan is, it's a quick loan, high interest, yet it gets the deal done. They look at the parameters of the deal. They look at, all right, how much is the property worth when it's all fixed up? How much are you buying it for? How much is the repairs? And they'll give you 100% of your repair budget, and they'll give you as much as, some will give you 100%, depending on your experience. They'll give you 100% of the purchase and 100% of the repairs, right? As long as you're within a certain threshold, which is usually 70% of the ARV or the after repair value. We call it the ARV. Some people call it the ARV, but that's the after repair value, meaning the value of the home once it's all fixed up, right? So now, right, you got your hard money loan. Most of them are typically 90% of the purchase price, 100% of repairs. That's typically what you see, 80 to 90% of the purchase price, 100% of repairs, right? but they're not really looking at you as a whole. They're going to check your credit to base their interest rate on you. Some will even do really low credit. They're going to check to make sure you don't have any bank foreclosures or anything like that. And if you do, here's the thing, it's a relationship business. So you just explain that and you explain what's going on, right? And this is the power of your personal credit. This is why, like, I was actually on a call earlier with a gentleman who he works for our CRM that we use for our credit repair business. And we were explaining to him we was having some difficulties with some certain things. And he was asking me about the business and what we do. And I was explaining to him how we do real estate coaching, but we also do credit repair, and I'm an active investor. And then he was like, well, how does that all intertwine? I think they should be two separate businesses. And I thought for a second, like, yeah, he's right. And then as he kept talking about something else, it clicked to me like, it's really not, because it all goes hand to hand. You know, the way I invest, the way I do things, you're going to need to clean up your credit, right? Now, it's not the end all and be all, because a lot of deals we do is none of your own credit. And most investors do use that strategy, right? And that's okay. But imagine what you can achieve if you have the strategies to not use your credit and the strategies to utilize your credit, right? And I'm not saying you're personally guaranteeing the debt. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, you know, when all falls, it falls down on you. I'm saying you leverage your credit score, you leverage your credit profile so you could go get business funding, so you can go do larger deals, have larger access to capital and things like that, right? So it starts with your personal credit, with good habits, and getting that score up. If you have a bankruptcy, getting it removed. A lot of people don't realize you can get it removed from your credit profile. When people work with us, we get that removed from their profile. Foreclosures, things of that nature, you can get all of that removed. It doesn't happen overnight. That's the biggest challenge. People that work with me on credit repair, they're like, hey, man, can you get this done in 30 days? And my answer all the time is no. I'm not going to sell you a pipe dream. If you want to get it done in 30 days, you need to go see somebody else, because that person's lying to you, or they're just going to suppress your information so they could get it removed fairly quickly. They're going to do something illegal, like filing a legal police report, get it removed really quickly. And guess what? In a few months, it's going to be right back on your report. So what's the point? I'm here to give you lifetime results, right? And so for those that don't know, right now is the last day until 12 midnight, 60% off our credit repair. So if you need credit repair, if you need credit restoration, just send me a DM, drop a message, or go to our website, selvinfinancial.com, and type in and just ask for a discovery call, and somebody on the team will get at you and get with you, even if you're not sure. Because here's the thing, on that free strategy call, we give you all the options, everything you need to do to get your score up to the right level, right? So even if you decide not to work with us, that's okay. I don't care. I'm here to bring you value. I'm here to better you and uplift you. And then you decide to work with us, great. You know what I mean? I tell you on that strategy call, I'll tell you everything you need to do to get your score up. Now you can do it yourself based on the advice I give you for free. Or if you're somebody like me and understand that time is money, you hand it off to the big dogs and let them take care of it for you, you know? And I mean, that's just how I work. You know, you either have time or you have money, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can utilize your time and that take up all your day, or you can use that time for bigger and better things. So you always got to ask yourself, what's the highest and best use of my time, right? So that's very, very important. So your credit's important. So back to the real estate game, back to how we invest out of state, right? So number one is making sure you qualify for that hard money loan. Now, do you always need a hard money loan? No. There's private money lenders. So private money lender goes back to what I was just saying about how some people have the problem of what to do with their money. You know what I mean? These people can fund your deals. They can be the bank for you. You can have the seller finance the deal. So this is the importance of having all these strategies in the toolbox. You know, one of my mentors said the other day, actually, I think it was this morning, he said it. He said, you know, you make good deals out of bad numbers, or something like that. I don't know word for word, but pretty much the way I took that is, you know, you always make lemonade out of lemons. Now, here's the thing: if you don't have all those tools in your toolbox, how you gonna do that? So people that are just learning one specific type of real estate strategy, say for example, wholesaling, and now when deals are floating your way, if that deal does not fit in that wholesaling strategy category, what are you going to do? You're going to walk away from that deal and move on to the next deal, when that was money you could have put in the bank by utilizing another strategy. And it's vice versa. Say like people that are doing lease option strategies, right? And if that's all you know is that, now when a deal come along that might not fit in that box or that wheelhouse, you're not going to know what to do with that if you don't have other tools in your toolbox. Well, it's the same with money. It's the same with financing your deals. So like when you finance your deals, right? When you fund your deals, if all you know is to go get a hard money loan, or if all you know is to go get a DSCR loan, or if all you know is to go get a private money lender, what happens when those resources are exhausted? And, I know a lot of people saying, well, the world is abundant, right? But so because the world is abundant, you always going to have those opportunities, right? But sometimes you got to move quick. Sometimes the deal might be in front of you right now, and you got maybe a day or two to make that happen, or it's going to the next investor. Well, if you don't have cash in the bank, and if you're smart, you don't want to use it, even if you do, and say you exhausted those resources, what are you going to do? And that's why I utilize these credit card strategies, right? That's why I utilize all of these credit cards, because you could turn these grapes into wine. You could take these credit cards and you could convert them into liquid cash to do what you need to do, and it's unsecured. So unsecured meaning it's not collateralized by the debt. You don't need to do an appraisal on that property to get that going. So that's very, very, very important for you to understand that, right? So now back to cross-country investing. What's your exit strategy? Is it to fix and flip? So for me, I like fixing and flipping to get large chunks of cash, right? I love an extravagant lifestyle, and that helps me feed that lifestyle. Now, or is your strategy buying and holding? Maybe you just want passive income coming in. That's fine too, right? Because that's where true wealth is made, by holding on to properties long term, getting the equity out of them and the cash flow out of them, right? And the tax depreciation too. So there's a lot of money and a lot of wealth building that, but each will have a different strategy and a different way of going about it, and about building your team out of state. I did both, right? So the latter, if you're going to do the buy and hold, now what I do is I find, instead of finding that rockstar agent at first, I'm going to find that rockstar property manager, and that property manager is going to lead me to all the different people that they do business with, right? So you either want to find that rockstar agent or that rockstar property manager, right? And when you find those two people, you're golden in any market. And you need to know, again, it's a relationship business. So you need to know the person that knows the who's for each area. In certain cities, for example, in Kansas City, who I'm going to deal with in the Northland is going to be totally different than who I'm going to deal with, say, for example, in Overland Park. It's a totally different person. In Milwaukee, a person that I'm gonna deal with, say, in the city of Milwaukee, is gonna be totally different than, say, somebody I'm gonna deal with in Racine. So it's a whole different area, right? So it's micro to that area, and that's what you got to make sure that you got those right people, man. So I hope this is helping. And let me see. I'm looking at everybody who joined on Instagram. I'm streaming. This is my first time streaming live to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everything all at once. So it's pretty cool. And I'm trying to figure it out here and figure out how this all works, man. But it's cool. And man, if you guys like what you're hearing, just give me a like, drop me some love in the comments. Any questions y'all have, I'll try to figure out how to see it on this platform. I'm using the StreamYard platform, and we'll figure it out. And I'm figuring it out as I go. And that's the biggest challenge with most people. Most of y'all are scared to figure shit out while you go. You're scared to figure it out while you go. Most of y'all got to have all your I's dotted and all your T's crossed before you move forward and do a deal. And therefore you never get a deal because of that, and anything in life. Then you want to stay safe in your bubble. Life don't work like that. You gotta move forward and figure it out along the way. So like I said, with this whole thing that I'm doing with this platform thing, when I first turned it on, it crashed my computer. I didn't know what I was doing. Now I figured it out. Okay, got it going. I'm not a tech person. yet we figure it out as we go. And that's everything in life, everything with real estate. So when I first bought my first apartment building, I bought it, then the management quit. I thought the management was going to take over. I didn't know I had to, transfer it over and things like that. And so they quit. So for the first month, my tenants didn't even know where to pay rent. It was a mess. It was a nightmare. And for a second, I laid down in the bed and didn't want to get out of bed for 2 days. Then I said, wait a second, bro, you got to snap out of that, man. We move forward. We fail, learn from that and move forward, because it's not failure unless you accept it as failure. It's only failure if you accept it as failure. For me, it was just, all right, this is just the wrong way to do it. A lesson learned, check that off the box, next, and figure it out. I had to figure it out on my own. I didn't have anybody hold my hand. And then afterwards, I went and got a little bit of mentorship and had somebody train me and teach me how to do it right. But at first, I tried to figure it out on my own, and that's all you can do. Now, let's talk about when we go back, like, okay, you got your market, you got your agent plugs you with the contractor, she's sending you the deals, right? But most deals on the MLS, they may not be the best deals, right? So the way you're going to work with this agent is you're going to let them know, yes, you're looking for deals on the MLS, but you're also going to let them know deals you get in that area off market, you're going to let them list it on the back end. Now, never sign an agreement with that agent, like an exclusive right buyer's rep and things like that, because those are worded, they're tricky. They're different in every state. And they're worded in such a way where, say, if you sign an exclusive buyer's rep with an agent, and then this agent then stop bringing you deals, and then you meet this agent over here, and then they bring you a smoking off market deal, and you go do that deal with that agent. Now, this agent over here is like, hey, I need my check. You owe me some money. So you got to be careful with that. So I never signed that. And what I tell agents all the time is like, hey, I'm an investor. I work with multiple agents around the city. So because of that, I can't sign that. But what I will be willing to sign is every deal you bring me, put the address on that, and you have the exclusive right to that address. And that's only right because they brought you the deal first. Whoever brings you that deal first. So if they bring you 123 Main Street, then you have the exclusive right to represent me on 123 Main Street. So that way, say if they've got the exclusive right for 3 months, and say we put in an offer or whatever happens, and I don't do the deal with that agent, and then a month later somebody else brings me that deal, and then I do the deal with them, it was only right that this person should eat. You know what I mean? In my book, everybody's different, but that's the way I roll. You know what I mean? So I will sign something like that. But as far as signing something where it's let me check this message here. As long as signing something, as far as they exclusively represent me for the entire city or entire zip code or anything like that, I refuse to do that, and you shouldn't do that neither. But what you want to tell them is that, hey, you bring me off market deal pocket listings. You also show me everything on the MLS, put me on the feed, and any deals that I get, I'm going to make sure you list that too on the back end. You know what I mean? And this is after you check them out and make sure they're good. And the reason being is now when you need boots on the ground, they become your boots on the ground. So now when you need them, you need to run comps just to make sure your comps are sure, right? So most realtors will run comps for you for free, right? But when you call on a realtor back to back, that's cool. If you, so those that don't know, biggerpockets.com is a great resource for real estate, free resource, right? And so there's a lot of people, there's a forum on there with people chatting back and forth. And there's a lot of people on Bigger Pockets saying, hey, just have a realtor run comps for you. Because people are like, well, how do you run comps in this area or that area? And they'll say, hey, just have a local realtor run comps for you. That's cool, except if you're doing it on a higher scale where you're submitting multiple offers every week, do you think that agent, right, not getting paid to do that, do you think they're going to want to run comps on 10 different properties a week, 20 different properties, even if it was just 4 properties a week? You might do it for 4, but eventually after week 3, if they haven't gotten any money out of it or any compensation or any sign of future compensation, they're going to say, screw this, I'm not doing this no more, and now you're going to lose them. They're going to stop answering your calls. They're going to start distancing themselves. And that's the end of that relationship. So I choose not to do that. So one, you got to get good at your own numbers, right? You got to learn how to run your own comps and get good at your own numbers. When people work with me, I show them exactly how to do that. Show them exactly how to run their own numbers, right? So you got to get good at that first, right? Then when the deal tightens up, and say if I do need some sort of confirmation, then maybe I will run it by them. Hey, I'm going to throw you this listing on the back end. What you think it'll sell for once I fix it all up? And then I show them pictures of the examples of the comps. So your finished work should be based off what your comps are looking like. Because if the comp looks like that and they got, say, 500,000, then you should be able to get 500,000, right, for the property. So I'll show them pictures of the comps, like, hey, I'm going to do it exactly like these 3 properties here. What do you think I could get? And they might say, you're spot on. You're going to get 500K. Or they might see something that I might have overlooked. In certain cities, it's something as simple as, in certain neighborhoods too, in certain cities, it's something simple as, like, one flip we did. They said, well, you're not going to get as much as this comp right here. And I said, why? I said, it's same square footage. In fact, our building's a little bit bigger, and we're going to go with the same finishes. And they say, yeah, but they got a carport and you don't have a carport, and you can't even put a carport there, or whatever it was, right? Something like that. But it was something so small that I was like, dang, I didn't even think about that. Something simple as that, something as simple as they know that neighborhood stronger than you. So when you're looking on a map to run your comps, you're looking for the right streets to cross, right? So you're looking for like highways, major streets. Those are usually neighborhood dividers. And that usually what changes the neighborhood from a good neighborhood to a bad neighborhood, vice versa. Yet there might be some other outlying factor that you don't know about because you're not from that area. Like those that play in Oakland know Oakland goes block for block. I used to live in Boston, Massachusetts. You'll be on one street and it'll be a rough street. And then you'll go a block away and it's a really nice street. It's the same thing in Oakland, certain areas. Certain areas in Oakland where, this area right here is really nice. But if you're comping properties from, say, like not even a half-mile radius, maybe like, just like a few blocks away, and it's a rough area. And you wouldn't know that unless you're from there, unless you've been through there, and you could kind of check that and investigate that via Google Maps, right? So I always walk the streets, Google Maps, things like that. Then you go on TaskRabbit. You could get somebody on TaskRabbit, pay them $30. They're going to videotape everything. They're going to go to that house, videotape it, FaceTime you. They're going to FaceTime you on the street, videotape the street. And you're looking for the type of cars, how people are upkeeping their lawn, all of that stuff. You know when a neighborhood is rough and when it's not, and then you base your calculations on that. And the good thing about when you're using hard money is they're going to run their own numbers too. So they're like a second set of eyes and ears, and they're going to tell you why they like the deal or why they dislike the deal. So that's good too, right? So then when it comes to your contractors, you need to create a scope of work. This is where your boots on the ground come in very handy. You could create a scope of work based off of pictures, but what about the stuff you can't see? There's not everything you're going to be able to see in pictures. And trust me when I tell you, everybody make them pictures look good. Then you get there in person, you're like, man, what kind of Snapchat filters do they have on these pictures? So that's very important that, you have a team that knows how to help you put that scope of work together. There's certain agents that know how to do that. The right agents will help you do that until you get your solid contractor team. But the key is that you find that team that has the same values as you, the same values of me, meaning they word is bond. They bond as they like. They do what they say they're going to do. They don't lie. They're trustworthy. They're honest, dependable. Just like me. If I say I'm going to pay you on this date for the work you did, I'm going to pay you on that date and you're not going to wait for that. I'll make sure that money's already put aside before I even said that. So that way there is no hiccups. Well, I want the same in return. If you say you're going to finish that work on this date and it's going to be like this, then that's the way it needs to be. And unfortunately, you come across a couple bad apples. And in fact, in the flipping game, it's the contractor that can make or break you on your flips. Realistically, based on my experience, if you're running your numbers right, you're doing everything right, the only other factor that can make or break you is your contractor. So that's why you put certain contracts in place to protect you against that contractor. So they can't put a lien against your property. So that way, if they screwing up, you tell them kick rocks, you won't got to pay them. You put certain things in place, certain milestones. You never pay a contractor all up front. Don't even pay them half up front. I did that when I first started and lost a lot of money. It is what it is. It was a lesson. That's the way I look at it. It was a lesson, So now you put these certain contracts, these certain system in place, my contractor system that I utilize, where now it would be a disservice to themselves to walk off that job early, because they're going to make pennies. You know what I mean? They're getting paid in milestones, and you're checking those milestones, and you having people go in there and check that. So it's really, really easy, you know. And then a lot of y'all is like, well, so I see this one person's asking here, well, what about the down payment, right? So the down payment, that's the easy part, right? So you got everything else lined up. So now you need your down payment, your closing costs, and your holding costs. And there's so many different strategies. If I was to tell you all the different ways that I find money for down payments for deals, man, we'll be on here another 2 hours. In fact, y'all need to join me Wednesday. So send me a private message or drop a comment if y'all want to join my Zoom Wednesday, 10 a.m. I'm going to be talking exactly that, how you could get $300K in unsecured funding, right? Just by doing the steps I'm going to tell you on this Zoom for free. I'm going to give you the blueprint for free, how to get this money and how to use it for your deals, right? Just up to you to put in the work. You got to put in the work. I'll tell you what to do. You got to put in the work. So join me on Wednesday, 10 a.m. Today is Monday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. I hope to see you there. We'll be there. You know, I got a boot camp coming up, 3-day boot camp. We're going to go into detail. Day one, we're going to touch on your personal credit. As much as you don't think it deals with real estate, it does. We're going to touch on your personal credit. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. If you have bad credit, how to fix it. If you have good credit, how to make it even better. Then we're going to also touch on business credit, setting up your business the right way from day one. Most investors are not set up the right way due to the fact that real estate is considered high risk to the banks when it comes to business funding, right? So I'm going to show you how to set that up the right way, show you how to be in compliance, show you how to do the right thing with your business, right? And then once your business is in compliance, I'm going to show you how to build business credit. And then with your personal intact and your business intact, I'm going to show you how you're going to get 6 figures with a brand new company, brand new credit profile. Within a few months, you'll be able to get 6 figures. Then I'm going to show you how to use that and buy real estate, how to turn that funding into cash and buy real estate. I'm going to show you where to find these deals off market, so you don't have to see the same deals everybody sees. I'm going to show you exactly the strategies I use, whether it's fixing and flipping, buying and holding, seller financing, things like that. I'm going to show you all the different strategies I use, all my exit strategies I use to make money in real estate. And guess what? You come to this event, if you don't learn from the techniques I'll show you how to make $100K in 1 month, then by day 2, if you're not happy, I'll give you your full money back. You can leave, no problem. I'll give you money back. Go to their website here on the screen, selvonfinancialre.com, selvonfinancialre.com. Check it out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be in Houston, Texas, and we're going to have a great time. This is going to be in October, I believe it's the 16th to the 18th. It's going to be in October, and we're going to have fun, man. You guys are going to hang out with me. I'm fun to be around, and I'm going to teach you guys at the same time, because my goal right now is to get everybody on the level of success. You know, here's the thing. A lot of times we don't do what we want in life. We do what we feel we need to do to provide for our family, to support our family and things like that. Think about your dreams. What are the dreams that you have? You know, every morning I think about that. Like, man, what is my dreams? And I make sure that whatever I'm doing is going in alignment to those dreams. Because if not, what the hell am I doing it for? Who cares? A lot of y'all want money, right? Want a lot of money. A lot of money's cool, but for what? See, you got to understand, money, it's not even real, right? It's just a transfer of energy. Money never leaves your hands, right? This is crazy, right? If you really look at money like this, money never leaves your hands. It just transforms. It just transmutes, right? Like it turns from that paper or whatever, or that digital number on your phone, on an app, or whatever it is you're looking at your bank account, and it just transfers into something else. So like if you spend your money on a car, it just transmuted into another physical shape of a car. But that's all it is. Money is just that, right? And so when you start looking at money and viewing money differently, then money just starts to flow to you and you start attracting it. Then you realize you really don't need money. It's not money that you want. It's the things that money could buy that you want. Maybe you want to take that vacation around the world. Maybe you want that dream car that you always wanted, or that house you always wanted, or whatever it is. Or maybe it's not even none of that. Maybe it's you just want to help other people, and you know that money can help you do that by donating to certain charities, or even starting your own charitable foundation and helping out the world, you know? So it's like somebody said, money is the root of all evil. And I said, how is that? And they said, well, it's money is the root of all evil, and it causes all wars and everything. And I said, yeah, but you can't even help anybody without any money, because you can't even help yourself. So money's not the root of all evil. Money's an amplifier. So those that know me personally know I'm into cars, and I got these old school cars with these big old amps in the back of the car with the bass booming. Well, that's that amp amplifies that sound and makes that speaker go louder. So I could like shake the houses as I drive down the street, right? But that's all money is. It's an amplifier. Just like alcohol. Alcohol is an amplifier. So like when you want to do business with somebody, you know that person you're gonna do business with, take them out to eat, give them a few drinks, see how they act after they get a little wavy and a little bit of alcohol in their system. Then you'll realize, is this a person I want to do business with? See how they're treating everybody else. And they're treating everybody else bad. That might not be the person for you, you know. But money's the same thing. It's an amplifier. So when you see how a person acts when they get money, people are always humble when they're down. And then when they get money and they walking around like, treating people, belittling people and treating people really bad, then that's not somebody you want to be around. And at one point in my life, I was like that until I realized that. And I said, wait a second, this is not the way to be. This don't even make me happy. I thought it was cool, but it's not about that. It's just about the things that money can buy you. And when I say buy you, I'm not talking about so much materialistic. Like, yes, I love nice things. I wear solid gold Rolex watches. I wear diamonds. I love nice things. There's not solid gold Cartiers and things like that. I love nice things. Yet it's not about that. It's about the freedom money can give you. Money can give you freedom, and you can choose now with money. You can choose to get your freedom to do whatever you want, or you could go harder with whatever it is you're doing, whatever makes you happy. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man. I love y'all. Y'all go be happy and enjoy the rest of y'all night, man. And now, I'm live right now on multiple Facebooks. I'm live on YouTube. I'm live on Instagram. So now I'm gonna figure out how to turn this all off with this one app, man. It's pretty cool. Love y'all. Peace.